Hello, this is Ignite Studios here. We got Sharing with the Better Business Bureau, and I have one of my how do I say this? I guess I'm not a favorism because I'm not supposed to be involved, but I love this guy, and I've known him for a long time. And true disclosure, my daughter worked for him for one winter break. I guess she made good coffee because she's now a diplomat somewhere in Lithuania, making even better coffee. How about that?
I think they probably have better coffee in Lithuania than we do.
They do. So, Ryan, I would love to introduce yourself and talk about how long you've been a senator.
So Ryan McDougle, live in Hanover. I've been in the Senate since 2006. I was in the House of Delegates since 2002, so it's been a few years. And my area used to go up and include the Northern Neck and Middle Peninsula over to Spotsylvania, but it's switched east now and goes New Kent, James City County, King and Queen, Gloucester, Matthews, Hanover.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that change. Okay. And what makes you decide to run for office each time? Each time your terms get near the end and you can walk away. You can get your life back. You get your daughter back. I met her before she was born, right? She was an infant. I remember that. And your wife, you can walk away any day. And it's not for the money you're doing this.
yeah, the 18,000 a year
Yeah.
salary is not keeping you engaged in the business.
When I ran for Senate, and if I won, I knew I wasn't gonna give up my car dealership days because I wasn't gonna go too far with $18,000. But why do you keep running?
Well, when I originally ran, it's because I had a view about what government should do, and more importantly, what government should not do. I think that gets lost these days. People want government to be the solution, and sometimes government needs to help, but they should not necessarily be the solution. Look at y'all, Better Business Bureau. The government is not running it. You partner with them in areas where it works together, but y'all find the solution, not government. Some years though, it's a struggle to think about running. It is a lot of time. It takes time away from your business. It certainly costs a lot of money because you aren't able to, in my case, practice law, do those things. So it becomes personally expensive, and it's expensive more in the time direction. So trying to balance those things are challenging. But at the same time, when you go through our legislative sessions, and in Virginia, we're still citizen legislature. We have most of us have real jobs that we go back to and feel the impact, positive and negative, of the bills that pass and don't pass. That impact of what you're able to get done is what brings you back. But it can be a challenge.
We'll let Crystal and Evie might be thinking of one question they want to ask, but I'll ask you, where did it, one more, you guys think? Don't forget we're on the camera. So I love being on YouTube. Where are we gonna get good candidates? I mean, I will tell you, when I give people advice, I went to Sorensen and then I never thought I was gonna run. I ran, and I always tell people it's the most, I've had a lot of losses in my life. The worst loss I ever had was losing that race. And I don't know why. It took me 6 months. I mean, I needed a shrink probably. And my wife tried to help me along. My daughter tried to help me along, but it was depressing. And it was more because I raised money and I felt like I took the money and I didn't win, right? And people that donate to candidates, they understand the chances that you're gonna win, you're not gonna win. But when you're the person, it ate me alive, it really did. But where are we gonna start to find great candidates in the future? Or where have we been finding them? What could we do better, you know?
Well, I don't think being in politics or being elected is different than in the microcosm of the community. It's in business, it's in churches, it's in organizations. You have people that are in the role because they want to impact a specific issue, and so they're single issue focused. You have people that view it more like I do, where you're trying to put a overarching view about government into place. And you have some people who run because they like the thought of being called whatever the elected title is. And you see some of those, but that's not different than any other aspect of our community, whether it's Little League or anything else. So as we're looking at candidates, trying to find those that are demonstrating through the rest of what they do in life that they want to make that difference and have that positive impact, and then certainly the views that you espouse in your area, those are important. But I do think it's really important to have some experience along the way of dealing with things in the community. You know, growing up, my mom was a school teacher, my dad was a state employee. We all had part-time jobs outside of that. So worked in my mom's business then, plant business, which became her full-time. We farmed every day. We were doing something else. And I watched the struggles of them going through the struggles of teaching, the struggles of being a state employee, the struggles of starting a business. And those impacted me along the way and certainly framed a number of my views as I went forward. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to practice law and prosecute, defend, do other types of cases as well. And you got to see a lot of different things in that. The impact crime had on people. Y'all deal with a lot of people scamming. That's considered more of a white collar or a non-violent offense, but it can have a tremendous impact on somebody's life and their view of the rest of society.
Right.
Make them isolated and impact them more than if something happened in a different way. And you look at those things and it definitely impacts how you vote on different areas.
Is there any topics, Evie or Crystal, that you think need to be addressed?
Actually, Barry, you know how I am about time, and the senator's out of time.
There you go. You are awesome. You keep us on board. But again,
She needs to come work for me, Barry. 'Cause I am not good at time. I'm always late.
that's why she runs the show, and I know this is only what I'm doing. But it's a good point. But obviously, food, the food banks, how do we cure this once and for all, that people could have food, what's it called?
Insecurity.
Food insecurity. Dr. Hong,
Insecurity, yes.
cancer survivor doctor at Massey, was here last week, and she talks about 40% of the cancer survivors she's treating have food insecurity. And that's a big deal. Even though we have all these food programs, fentanyl is obviously a problem, mental health, housing, credit, is so much that's got to get done, but it's on a federal level and our state level. But you just need clear communication, and I hope people give that to you. And because you're always willing to listen, and you just listen, and then you decide from there. But we'll let you wrap up. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I would say, as we're dealing with problems, government needs to be the partner. It does not need to be the solution. And when we look at some of these issues, whether it's homelessness or food insecurity or fentanyl, you have to have a structure from government to help. But I think we make a mistake when we say government is the lead and we rely on government, because they're never going to be as creative, never going to be as efficient, and never going to be as nimble as people in the private sector to find solutions. And the solutions are, if we had silver bullets for all of them, we have already fixed it, but the solutions tend to change, and you need people that are creative and in the trenches getting it done. And I think that's just a fundamental different view that sometimes we bring into the political legislative process.
Correct. And again, we don't get political, but again, the government, we're looking at the BBB to try to solve issues and or with for-profit companies, but it always goes back to the individual. And that's the responsibility we're trying to get everybody to take. And that was well said. And I appreciate that straightforward counter. So we'll wrap it up. The podcast is BBB Sharing at Ignite Studios. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.